Attached, The New Science of Adult Attachment and How It Can Help You Find and Keep Love by Amir Levine, M.D., and Rachel Heller, M.A. Picture this. You meet someone and boom, instant electricity, like touching a live wire, but in a good way. You date for a few weeks, and it's magical. They say everything you've dreamed of hearing. They make you feel like you're the only person in the room. And for the first time in forever, that lonely ache in your chest starts to fade. But then, the shift happens. Calls get shorter, plans get vaguer, that knot forms in your stomach and won't leave. You're suddenly a detective, investigating your own relationship, analyzing every word, every pause, every emoji. Did I talk too much? Was I boring? Are they seeing someone else? Before you know it, you're refreshing your phone like a slot machine, hoping for a notification that might calm the storm in your head. And, ironically, all that anxiety pushes them even further away. Sound painfully familiar? You're definitely not alone. And here's the kicker, you're not broken either. For decades, we've been fed this narrative that being whole means being completely self-sufficient in love. That real strength means not needing anyone. That wanting closeness is somehow weak, clingy, or everyone's favorite buzzword, codependent. But what if that's complete nonsense? What if needing connection isn't a character flaw, but actually part of your biological wiring? What if it's literally coded into your DNA for survival? That's exactly what psychiatrists Dr. Amir Levine and Rachel Heller discovered, and they laid it all out in their book Attached. When it dropped in 2010, it wasn't just another relationship self-help book. It revealed a hidden blueprint for how we love, a scientific framework that explains basically every confusing thing that's ever happened in your romantic life. It sold millions of copies and completely changed how an entire generation thinks about relationships. Not as random luck, but as something you can actually understand and navigate. The big revelation? We all have an attachment style, basically a default setting for how we handle intimacy and connection. Understanding yours is like getting the cheat codes to human relationships. By the time we're done today, you'll not only understand your own love programming, but you'll be able to read other people's patterns too. You'll finally get why some relationships feel like coming home, while others feel like you're drowning. And most importantly, you'll learn how to navigate toward the kind of secure, deeply satisfying love you actually deserve. So buckle up, let's dive in. Remember that reality show where couples raced around the globe? There was this one couple, Karen and Tim, who looked perfect on paper. Smart, attractive, successful, the whole package. But when the pressure cranked up, things got messy. Karen wanted connection. Tim wanted space. When stress hit its peak, Karen just needed to hold Tim's hand. A simple gesture for reassurance. But Tim hesitated, thinking it was needy. After losing the race by a hair, Karen blamed herself. "I think we lost because I was too needy," she said. "Why did I need to hold his hand so much? That was silly." Like so many of us, Karen thought her need for connection was the problem. But attachment science tells a completely different story. Dr. Levine argues that Karen got it exactly backward. We're not designed to just tough it out alone when stressed. Our brains are literally wired to seek support from our partners. When we get attached, our brain basically programs itself to crave their presence. And if they don't provide that reassurance, our brain doesn't just shrug and move on. It intensifies the search for connection until it feels safe again. This brings us to the book's first mind-blowing concept, the dependency paradox. We've been told forever that strength equals independence. Stand on your own 2 feet. Don't need anyone. But attachment science flips that completely upside down. The more securely attached and dependent you are on someone who's reliable, the more independent, confident, and adventurous you actually become. Think about a toddler at a playground. There's this famous study called the strange situation test that demonstrates this perfectly. Picture a little girl, let's call her Kimmy, in a room full of cool new toys. As long as her mom's sitting in the corner, Kimmy's all in. She's exploring, grabbing toys, totally confident, just occasionally glancing back to make sure mom's still there. Her mother is her secure base. But the second mom leaves the room, Kimmy loses it. The toys might as well be invisible. Her entire world shrinks to one desperate mission: find mom. She crawls to the door, crying, pounding on it. Her attachment system has been triggered. When a friendly researcher tries to distract her with a bright, shiny toy, Kimmy just gets more upset. Then mom returns. Kimmy rushes to her. They hug, and within moments, she's calm again. With her secure base restored, her curiosity comes flooding back. She goes right back to playing. Here's the powerful part. As adults, we're exactly like Kimmy. Our partner is our secure base. When we know with absolute certainty that we have someone who's got our back, our attachment system relaxes. We can then focus outward on our careers, our passions, our creativity, our dreams. We can take risks and explore. But if we're uncertain whether our person will be there for us, our attachment system goes haywire. Like Kimmy, we can't focus on anything else. We become obsessed with the relationship, constantly seeking reassurance. So dependency isn't weakness. Healthy dependency is actually the foundation of strength. The problem isn't needing someone, the problem is needing the wrong someone. And this is where it gets really fascinating. The authors explain that while we all need connection, how we pursue it varies wildly. This is your attachment style, and it runs your entire relationship playbook. There are three main styles. First up, secure attachment. About 50% of people are secure. These folks are basically the relationship MVPs. Being warm and loving comes naturally to them. They're comfortable with closeness and don't spiral about their relationships. They communicate needs clearly and are great at reading and responding to their partner. They're the emotional rock. Second, anxious attachment, which is about 20% of people. Anxious folks crave intimacy and often obsess over their relationships. They worry constantly about whether their partner truly loves them. Their attachment system is like a smoke detector that goes off when someone burns toast 3 houses down. Even tiny things, a slight shift in tone, an unanswered text, can send them into full panic mode. Third, avoidant attachment, about 25% of the population. Avoidant people see intimacy as losing their freedom. Too much closeness feels suffocating. They constantly create distance, both emotionally and physically. They value independence above everything and tend to keep partners at arm's length. Now, you might think you're one of these, but what's really fascinating is how these styles interact with each other. Remember that story from the beginning about the perfect romance that slowly morphs into an anxiety nightmare? The authors tell the story of their friend Tamara, who fell hard for a guy named Greg. He was charming, good-looking, and said things like, "You can call me any time," things that promised she wouldn't end up alone. But Greg also dropped some pretty big hints. He mentioned he'd never had a stable relationship, that he always got bored and needed to move on. Tamara, swept up in the love conquers all fantasy, ignored these glaring red flags. As they got closer, Greg started vanishing. Suddenly, he was too busy to meet up. He became distant and critical. Tamara's attachment system went into overdrive. She became consumed with tracking his whereabouts, hypersensitive to any hint of withdrawal. She lost interest in work, friends, hobbies, everything. Her entire world collapsed to the size of her relationship with Greg. Tamara was anxious. Greg was avoidant. And they were trapped in what the authors call the anxious-avoidant trap. This is the most common and explosive pairing in dating, creating the perfect storm of emotional chaos. Here's the mechanics of how it works. The anxious person senses distance, and their attachment system lights up like a Christmas tree. They try to get closer for reassurance. More calls, more texts, more physical affection. These are called activating strategies, any thought or behavior that compels you to restore closeness. But to the avoidant person, this closeness attempt feels like a threat to their freedom. It triggers their defense system, deactivating strategies. These are any thoughts or behaviors designed to kill intimacy. They might suddenly notice all their partner's tiny flaws, how they chew, a weird laugh, whatever. They might daydream about a phantom ex, an idealized past lover who seems perfect precisely because they're safely in the past. They might flirt with others or just shut down emotionally, becoming cold and distant. This withdrawal, naturally, sends the anxious person into even deeper panic. They escalate their pursuit, which makes the avoidant pull back harder. It's a vicious spiral where each person's instinct feeds the other's worst fears. For the anxious person, this cycle becomes weirdly addictive. The avoidant partner's inconsistency, pulling away, then tossing out just enough affection to keep hope alive, creates an emotional roller coaster. Those brief moments of connection feel like the best high ever, and the distances feel devastating. Eventually, the anxious person starts confusing this anxiety relief cycle with passion. They get programmed to be attracted to exactly the people least likely to make them happy. Why does this happen so often? Simple math. Secure people, once they find a good partner, tend to settle into long-term stable relationships. They leave the dating pool. Avoidant people, however, end relationships frequently and recover quickly. They're constantly being recycled back into circulation. And studies show avoidants rarely date other avoidants. There's no emotional glue holding them together. So who are they dating? Yep, anxious people. The dating pool is disproportionately packed with avoidants, making it a minefield for anxious folks searching for secure connection. This leads to one of the book's most counterintuitive insights. If you're anxious, what happens when you finally meet someone who's secure? You feel bored. A secure person is consistent. They call when they say they will. They're straightforward about their feelings. No games, no mixed signals, no drama, no roller coaster. For someone who's learned to equate an activated attachment system with chemistry, this calm consistency can feel flat. The spark seems missing. And tragically, they might let the perfect partner slip away, holding out for the familiar, painful excitement of the chase. The avoidant person, the lonesome traveler, presents a different puzzle. They often seem strong, self-sufficient, independent. Like Chris McCandless from Into the Wild, who ventured into the Alaskan wilderness to live completely alone. Like McCandless, avoidant folks idealize self-sufficiency and look down on dependency, but are they really immune to needing connection? Science says absolutely not. In a clever study, researchers flashed words on a screen and measured recognition speed. Avoidants were super slow to recognize words related to attachment fears, like loss or separation. They were literally suppressing them. But when researchers distracted them with a second task, solving a puzzle, the avoidance defenses dropped. Suddenly, they recognized those threatening words just as fast as anyone else. The takeaway is powerful. Avoidant people have the exact same fundamental need for connection. Their attachment machinery is still there, but they're spending enormous mental energy actively suppressing it. Their independence isn't strength. It's a defense mechanism. It's a full-time job keeping love at bay. Tragically, just before dying alone in that wilderness, Chris McCandless wrote his final journal entry. Happiness only real when shared. It's a lesson many avoidant people learn far too late. So what's the solution? If you're anxious, are you doomed to chase unavailable people? If you're avoidant, are you destined for lonely self-sufficiency? Absolutely not. This is where the book becomes genuinely practical. The authors say your attachment style is stable but plastic. It tends to stay consistent, but it can change. You can learn to become more secure. For anxious people, the path to security starts with radical self-acceptance. Your needs are legitimate. Your desire for intimacy, reassurance, dependability, these aren't flaws. They're your core requirements for happiness. Stop apologizing for them. Instead of asking, how can I change to please this person, start asking, can this person provide what I need to be happy? This requires learning to spot the smoking guns of an avoidant partner early. Mixed messages, idealizing phantom exes, dismissing your emotional needs, calling you too needy or too sensitive. These aren't quirks to overlook, they're deal breakers. The authors also suggest a powerful strategy called the abundance philosophy. If you're anxious, you tend to get attached lightning fast. You meet someone you like, and instantly they become your only hope for love. This activates your attachment system and clouds your judgment. By dating multiple people casually in the early stages, you keep your attachment system from laser focusing on one person. It allows you to evaluate potential partners more objectively. You're less likely to tolerate bad behavior from one person when several others are treating you with respect. It desensitizes your attachment system and gives you clarity to choose wisely. But the master skill, the one both anxious and avoidant people can learn from secure folks, is effective communication. Secure people don't play games. They don't use protest behavior or deactivating strategies. They express needs directly and without blame. Imagine your partner does something hurtful. If you're anxious, your instinct might be protest behavior, silent treatment, or trying to make them jealous. If you're avoidant, you might withdraw and deactivate, telling yourself they're just not right for you. A secure person would do neither. They'd use the 5 principles of effective communication. 1. Wear your heart on your sleeve. Be genuine and honest about your feelings. 2. Focus on your needs. Use I feel, I need, and I want. Instead of, you never spend time with me, try. I feel lonely when we don't have quality time together. I need us to plan a date night this week. 3. Be specific. Clearly state what's bothering you. 4. Don't blame. Never make your partner feel selfish or incompetent. This isn't about winning. It's about being understood. 5. Be assertive and unapologetic. Your needs are valid. Period. When you communicate this way, one of 2 things happens. A secure or willing partner responds with care. They listen and work with you towards solutions. An avoidant or unwilling partner gets uncomfortable. They'll likely dismiss your feelings, get defensive, or withdraw. Either way, you win. You either deepen your relationship to a more secure level, or you get crystal clear confirmation that this person can't meet your needs, saving you months or years of heartache. This brings us to the final, most difficult part: what to do when a relationship becomes genuinely harmful. The authors share the harrowing story of Marcia and Craig. Craig was deeply avoidant, Marcia deeply anxious. Their relationship was a textbook nightmare. Craig constantly belittled her, compared her unfavorably to his ex, kept their relationship secret in public, and pushed her away relentlessly. Why did she stay? Because her attachment system was screaming. The pain of leaving felt greater than the pain of staying. In breakups, our brains register the loss of an attachment figure in the same areas that register physical pain. It's like breaking a bone. And once separated, our minds flood with only good memories, making it incredibly tempting to go back. Marcia only managed to leave when she finally, truly gave up hope that Craig could change. She unconsciously started using deactivating strategies herself, focusing on his flaws, emotionally detaching, to prepare for separation. And even then, it was one of the hardest things she'd ever done. Her story is a stark reminder that your self-worth should never be negotiable. A secure relationship should boost your confidence, not destroy it. It should give you peace, not constant anxiety. If it doesn't, that's your wake-up call. As we wrap up our journey through Attached, it's hard not to feel a sense of profound clarity washing over everything. This book is way more than relationship advice. It's a user manual for the human heart. It takes the confusing, often painful chaos of love and gives it structure, meaning, and science. In our modern world of swiping, ghosting, and breadcrumbing, attachment theory has never been more relevant. It gives us language to understand why we spiral when someone leaves us on read, or why we suddenly feel the urge to run when things get good. It explains these aren't personal failures, they're ancient biological programs running in the background of our minds. The most powerful lesson for me is the perspective shift it demands. For so long, the narrative has been about self-love as the prerequisite for partner love. Fix yourself first. Become whole and complete on your own before you can be happy with someone else. Attached gently, but firmly dismantles that myth. It tells us our need for others isn't something to overcome, but something to understand and honor. It reframes dependency not as a disease, but as a feature of our humanity. The goal isn't to stop needing people. It's to find the right people to need. So how can you start applying these powerful ideas in your own life right now? First, simply identify your style. As you've been listening, which description felt most like looking in a mirror? Are you the vigilant lover, always scanning for threats? The lonesome traveler, guarding your independence? Or the secure anchor? Just having this self-awareness is the crucial first step. It's not about judgment. It's about understanding your own operating system. Second, practice one small act of effective communication. This week, find a moment with a friend, family member, or partner. Instead of hinting at what you need, try stating it directly using the principles we discussed. Start simple. I feel a little disconnected lately. I need us to have some one-on-one time without phones this weekend. Notice how it feels to be direct, and pay close attention to their response. It will tell you everything you need to know. And third, look for your secure role models. Think about a couple you know who seem genuinely happy and supportive. Watch them. How do they talk to each other, handle disagreements, celebrate each other's wins? Start building a mental library of what a secure bond looks like in real life. This will recalibrate your expectations and show you what's actually possible. In the end, the journey to a secure, loving relationship isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about understanding who you are at your core and having the courage to honor your needs. It's about realizing that choosing a partner is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make for your health and happiness. And it's about knowing you deserve to feel safe, seen, and to have a secure base from which you can launch yourself into the world and become everything you were meant to be. That was a summary of Attached by Amir, Levine and Rachel Heller. We've walked through the architecture of love today, but a blueprint isn't the same as living in the house. This summary is your map, but the real treasure comes from taking the journey yourself. If you've felt a spark of recognition in these stories, if you've seen yourself or your relationships in a new light, I truly encourage you to pick up a copy of Attached. It's one of those rare books that doesn't just give you information, it gives you a new lens for seeing the world, and, more importantly, for seeing yourself. The link is waiting for you in the description. Also, if our time together has brought you some clarity or a new idea, the best way you can support us is by hitting that subscribe button. It tells us we're on the right track and ensures you won't miss our next exploration into a book that has the power to change your life. Let's continue this journey of learning together.